guys. We are back with another song by Eminem. And which one are we doing today?
Today we are doing Love the Way You Lie.
Okay, so I know this song, and this is another song where I think everybody knows this song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, so interesting little backstory. Skylar Grey wrote this
Oh,
chorus.
I didn't know that.
So I believe so there's part two. Do you know part two of the song? It's
Yes.
from Rihanna's perspective. She has all the verses and then Eminem has one verse.
Yeah.
So Skylar Grey, I believe, wrote that song initially with this hook, showed it to Eminem. Eminem liked the hook, and then asked Rihanna to get on it because her public, shit with Chris Brown. And he's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that would be crazy, abusive relationship, the both of us,
True.
So obviously this was a hit, and then they did part two, which is the slower version with Rihanna. And yeah, but Skylar Grey, this is all her shit.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So we'll check it out and break it down, even though we know this song.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all social media channels. Links in the description below, and our username's right there.
Okay. Love the Way You Lie,
Yes.
part one, I guess.
Yeah.
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. Well, that's alright because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. Well, that's alright because I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie.
I can't tell you what it really is, I can only tell you what it feels like. And right now it's a steel knife in my windpipe. I can't breathe but I still fight, while I can fight. As long as the wrong feels right, it's like I'm in flight. High off of love, drunk from my hate. It's like I'm huffing pain, I love her the more I suffer. I suffocate, right before I'm about to drown. She resuscitates me, she fucking hates me, and I love it. Wait, where you going? I'm leaving you. No you ain't, come back, we're running right back. Here we go again, it's so insane. Cause when it's going good, it's going great. I'm Superman with the wind in his back. She's Lois Lane, but when it's bad, it's awful. I feel so ashamed, I snap, who's that dude? I don't even know his name, I laid hands on him. I never stoop so low again, I guess I don't know my own strength.
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. But that's alright because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. But that's alright because I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie.
Okay. So it starts off with Rihanna singing the chorus, which is just gonna stand there and watch me burn. That's all right because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. That's all right because I love the way you lie. Love the way you lie. So it's interesting. So first off, there's foreshadowing in the very first line to Eminem's last line of the song. You know what I'm referring to.
No.
So yes, so stand there and watch me burn. You could take that two ways.
He like burns the whole house
He
down,
threatens to,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the video, I believe he actually does it. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
yeah, so watch me burn. So you could take literally like fire,
Yeah.
or like burning from like if you get burnt by someone, you know what I mean? They like
Yeah, like
fuck you
hurt.
over. Yeah.
Or I mean, what I see here is that like she's burning because of him, and he's just like watching her burn. He's like not doing anything about it. He's the one who caused it, and he's also not doing anything about it. And then she's also like, it's fine, like I'm here. I still love you.
Yeah, so yeah, she's like, that's all right, because I like the way it hurts. So, like a masochist, like, oh, I
Yeah.
actually enjoy this. Or trying to tell herself that at
Or at
least.
least it's kind of like just saying she still loves him. Like she's not going to leave him.
Yes. So then the second part, which is just gonna stand there and hear me cry, that's all right, because I love the way you lie. So it's interesting because the stand there and watch me burn ties in exactly with that's okay because I like the way it hurts, right? But then when she says, gonna stand there and hear me cry, that's all right because I love the way you lie. So do you take the implication that she's crying because of his lies? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she's crying because of his lies and also crying.
Just because of the fucked up relationship?
Yeah, or maybe he's like lying to her to make her not cry, like to make her stop crying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love you.
So, one other thing I will point out I didn't mention. So I said Scott Gray wrote this. So she did write this about the music industry. She
Interesting.
did say she had a boyfriend at the time that it wasn't great, but he wasn't like physically abusive or anything. But her main thing in mind when she wrote this was the music industry.
So she just wrote the chorus,
Mm.
or she also wrote Rihanna's part,
So,
like all Rihanna's parts.
so Rihanna only has this part in this song.
Right, right, right.
But like I said in the beginning,
Yes,
there's
yes, you're
part
right.
two that Rihanna
Yeah,
does, you know. But yeah, so she wrote all of
part
Rihanna.
two.
Yes.
Okay.
And this.
Yeah,
S-
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so that's all pretty self-explanatory. It's, this is a fucked up relationship, but I still love you. You know what I mean? So Eminem starts off, he says, I can't tell you what it really is. I can only tell you what it feels like. And right now it's a steel knife in my windpipe. So the what it really is, I think he's talking about like their relationship, their love for each other. You know what I mean? Like he can't,
Or like, yeah, I think what he can't tell you, like he can't tell you if he loves this person or not.
yeah,
Just he just knows what the feeling he gets from this person. He just knows what that feels like.
yeah,
Like he doesn't know if it's like, if it's love, if it's lust, or just something
yeah, that
else.
makes sense. And so he's like, yeah, I can't explain it to you, but I can explain how it feels, right?
Mm,
And he says, right now it's a steel knife in my windpipe,
feels
so
bad.
it feels shitty. He says, I can't breathe, going back to the steel knife in the windpipe, but I still fight while I can fight. As long as the wrong feels right, it's like I'm in flight. So again, he can't breathe, but he's still fighting, for this
Yeah.
relationship. It actually sounds like in this line, I fight while I can fight.
Yeah.
And then he says, as long as the wrong feels right, it's like I'm in flight. So he's aware that
Yeah,
it's toxic and fucked up, but he's in
for
flight,
sure.
which makes him high, which, he gets into in the very next line. He's addicted to the fucked up toxic relationship, you know
Mm,
high off of love, drunk from her hate, I believe it is. It's like I'm huffing paint, and I love it the more I suffer. I suffocate, and right before I'm about to drown, she resuscitates me. She fucking hates me, and I love it. Wait, where you going? I'm leaving you. No, you ain't. Come back. So, yeah, before we finish that little back and forth there. So he follows the being in flight with being drunk and high off of love and hate, and then huffing paint. So it's another thing you get high on.
yeah, and it also just ruins your life. So then he's suffering.
Yeah. So it's all these things that are intoxicating drugs, and this substance has a similar effect. And then so he loves it and he's suffering from it and he's suffocating, but right before he drowns, she resuscitates him. You know what I mean? So it's like she, from his perspective, she brings him right close to the edge and then just pulls him back in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Before it's like too much. And then she fucking hates me and I love it. And then it's so funny. He's like talking and then he's like, I love it. Wait, where are you going? So like as he's rapping this, she's on her way to leave him. Do you know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? And then she says, I'm leaving you. He said, no, you ain't. Come back. And then it continues. We're running right back. Here we go again. It's so insane because when it's going good, it's going great. I'm Superman with the wind at his back. She's Lois Lane.
Itchy. Sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, so he's saying this cycle of the fucked up shit, and then I'm leaving, and then no, you're not. Let me chase after you, and then bring you back. Here we go again. It's a constant, it's like
Yeah,
Groundhog's
like
Day.
it never ends.
Yes. And then he says he recognizes it's insane, but he feels it's so great when it is going good that it's worth it. And
Yeah.
then he describes when it's going great as the sensation of I'm Superman with the wind at his back. She's Lois Lane. So Superman,
Yeah, it's like everything's great.
yeah, so he's obviously a superhero and he can fly. And if the wind's at his back, it makes it even easier to fly. Do you know what I mean? And then Lois Lane was, his girl.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a nod to his song Superman, where he's like, I
Yes.
can't be your Superman, but this one he takes it in a
That
little
is
he
true.
takes it in a little different context. You know what I mean? Where he
Mhm.
is Superman. He feels like a superhero because of their relationship. Um, But when it's bad, it's awful. I feel so ashamed. I snap. Who's that dude? I don't even know his name. So who's saying I don't even know his name, do you think?
Eminem.
So you think he's saying who's that dude? I don't even know his name, or
Because he's saying he feels so ashamed when he snaps.
Mhm.
He's like, I don't even know who that person is when I get like that.
So back to the previous line where it's like, where you going? I'm leaving you. No, you ain't. So it was a conversation back and forth. So I
Oh,
wasn't sure if this was a line back and forth where he's saying, "Who's that dude?" and then she's saying, "I don't even know his name." Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like you're getting all jealous.
maybe, but I always felt like it was him talking to himself.
It's like, who is him? I never heard of him before. Like, like that
Like,
type of thing.
who's that?
Yeah.
It's not me. But like, yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then he says, I laid hands on her. I'll never stoop so low again. I guess I don't know my own strength. So, physical violence he's alluding to, or
Yeah.
something physical. And he says, I'll never stoop so low again. So, like, so he's talking about like where she does the fucked up shit, but then he's like, yeah, this is where I fucked up, but I promise, I won't do it again. I guess I don't know my own strength. I guess I didn't realize how much I hurt you physically when I touched you or grabbed you or punched you or whatever it is.
I mean, it doesn't really matter about how much strength you put into it. It's just the fact that you did it.
Of course, but
Well,
so
actually, no, if you just like went like that, I would be
yeah,
like, okay. So there's a level of strength where it doesn't really matter anymore.
yeah, but so like he's acknowledging like, oh, I'll never stoop so low. So he's like, again, this acknowledgement that this is fucked up, but like I still want to continue this and like I promise I won't
Yeah.
do it again, which he gets into more later in the song. So all right,
Yeah.
we'll pick it up here.
I love the way you lie.
You ever love somebody so much you can barely breathe when you're with them? You meet and neither one of you even know it hit them. Got that warm fuzzy feeling, yeah, them chills used to get them. Now you're getting fucking sick of looking at them. You swore you'd never hit them, never do nothing to hurt them. Now you're in each other's space, spewing venom in your words when you spit them. You push, pull each other's hair, scratch, claw, pit them, throw them down, pin them. So lost in the moments when you're in them, it's the race that's the cold break controls your boat. So they say it best to go your separate ways. Guess that they don't know you, cause today, that was yesterday. Yesterday is over, it's a different day. Sound like broken records playing over, but you promised her next time you show restraint. You don't get another chance. Life is no Nintendo game, but you lied again. Now you get to watch her leave out the window. Guess that's why they call it window pane.
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. But that's alright, because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. But that's alright, because I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie.
We'll go through the second verse.
It's so funny because like as he's rapping that in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, I can relate to that. Then it's like, no, no,
Oh yeah,
no.
it takes like a really dark turn. Yeah, it's like a relationship song that anybody could relate to.
In
And
the
then
beginning,
yeah,
no, like just this verse alone.
yeah, and then it turns.
Yeah.
So then he starts off second verse. You ever love somebody so much you can barely breathe when you're with them?
Well, not that. I mean, that if you're like if you're married to someone and you still can't breathe when you're with them, like you get that nervous,
Mhm.
something's wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't last and it's not meant to.
No.
So anyone out there, if you think that you have to feel like that to really know that you're in love, you 110% don't.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
No. It's
People,
unhealthy.
well, people get addicted to that. That's why they can't stay in committed relationships. You know what I mean? They're expecting that, like, when you first
Well,
meet
it's an
somebody.
obsession. It's
Yeah.
not love. I've
Hmm.
had a relationship like that in the past
Yeah, of
where you're
course.
just controlling the other person and it's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah. So you ever love somebody so much you could barely breathe when you're with them? You meet and neither one of you even knows what hit them. So you're like, oh, yeah, we're both just caught up in this crazy whirlwind romance.
Yeah.
Then he says, got that warm, fuzzy feeling. Yeah, them chills used to get him. Now you're getting fucking sick of looking at him. So it's funny because he does the warm fuzzy and then the chills. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it they're but they're both
opposites.
meant to be positive. Do you know what I mean? It's a little
Yeah.
interesting thing there. So the warm fuzzy feeling, yeah, the chills used to get him. Now you're getting fucking sick of looking at him. So the turning of the relationship. You swore you'd never hit him, never do nothing to hurt him. Now you're in each other's face, spewing venom in your words when you spit 'em. You push, pull each other's hair, scratch, claw, hit 'em, throw 'em down, pin 'em. So lost in the moments when you're in 'em. And these words are wrong here.
Eminem doesn't even really have hair.
Yeah, so then he says, so lost in the moments when you're in 'em. It's the rage that took over. It controls you both. And then let's keep going. So they say it's best to go your separate ways. Yeah, the rest of this looks good. Guess that they don't know ya, because today, that was yesterday. Yesterday is over. It's a different day. So yeah, this whole part is just, I would never hit them. I would never do anything to hurt them. And then their relationship obviously turns to that
Yeah,
physical
exactly.
abuse and like hitting and shit, violent. And he says you get so lost in the moments when you're in them, so they get caught up in it,
Because it's just control. That's all it
yeah, and
is.
it's a fight, and then
Just a
he's,
power struggle.
yes. So then he says, so they say it's the best to go your separate ways. Guess that they don't know you. So he's saying other people are telling him and whoever you want to say, it's Kim, whoever
Yeah.
the person he's referring to is that, oh, you guys should just split up.
You
And,
can't walk
this is
away.
so toxic. They're like, oh, I guess they don't really know us because that's not going to happen. He says, because today, that was yesterday. Yesterday is over. It's a different day. So that's so funny. He's literally like, we're in today right now. We beat the shit out of each other yesterday, and yesterday was a totally different day. So
Yeah,
what are you even talking about? That was so yesterday. We're fine today. Like
it's
that, like
crazy.
that part's over with. We're past that now. Yeah, it's delusional. And then he says, sounds like a broken record playing over, but you promised her next time you'll show restraint. You don't get another chance. Life is no Nintendo game, but you lied again. Now you get to watch her leave out that window. Guess that's why they call it window pane. So yeah, so again, he says this broken record, it's this constant, toxic cycle of shit.
Yeah, never
Yeah,
ending.
which he spoke about in the first verse. And he says, you promised her next time you'll show restraint. So he's promising her, oh, next time I won't hit you or I won't get physical or whatever, which I'm sure is common in, relationships like that.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then he says, you don't get another chance. Life is no Nintendo game. So obviously when you're playing video games, you die and then they just
Yeah, you
start a new
come like
game.
right back to life and everything's all
You
good.
get unlimited chances. So like he's acknowledging like you don't really get, that chance. You can't take back the fact that you hit them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
exactly.
can't be undone in that relationship.
No, unfortunately not.
But then he's saying you promised her you'll show restraint, but you lied again, meaning so they got into a physical fight. He apologized, being like, I'll never do that again, I promise, but then did it again. And then he says, now you get to watch her leave out the window. That's why they call it window pane.
Well, that comes from a controlling relationship also. If
Yeah.
you're in a normal relationship, you're not going to hit one another because there's no reason to hit one another.
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't do something that I would like him to do, I don't have the desire or the need to control anything he does because
Yeah.
we don't have an unhealthy relationship. So I would never like hit him for doing something I didn't want him to do,
No.
or from doing something from not doing something I wanted you to do or whatever.
Yep.
Like it's
And
only like it's like just a it's literally all control, really.
of course, and I would say, but best, obviously, I feel like hitting's like a no-brainer. But besides that, I feel like the best thing that like you and I do is like when we do argue, we don't name call. You know what I mean? We don't call each other like assholes or bitch or dick. You know what I mean? Like people do that. Like a lot of people do that. Be like, oh fuck you. You know what I mean? Like you're an asshole. You're being a bitch. Or you're being a dick. We don't call each other names like that when we fight.
Yeah, no, so I'll just be like, you're being mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that you would be surprised because obviously, if you call somebody an asshole, that's what you're meaning. You know what I mean? But by not using those words, it helps keep things under control.
Yeah, that is
It's
true.
like the best thing we ever did. We just made sure, we made a conscious decision that like, all right, we're not going to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't think we ever have.
No. So the line here I really like. So some people think it's corny, but so he says, then you get to watch her leave out the window. So like, yeah, he's inside the house and he's looking out the window and she's leaving. And then he
Mhm.
does, I guess that's why they call it window pane. So obviously the glass panes, they call it a window pane. And then he's playing on
Like
pain,
emotional
the
pain.
pain he's feeling of watching her leave him. And then the chorus, and we will pick it up here and let the song finish out. Yeah.
I love the way you lie.
Now I know we said things, did things that we didn't mean, and we fall back into the same patterns, same routine, but your temper's just as bad as mine is. You're the same as me, when it comes to love, you're just as blinded. Baby, please come back, it wasn't you, baby, it was me. Maybe our relationship isn't as crazy as it seems. Maybe that's what happens when a tornado meets a volcano. All I know is I love you too much to walk away though. Come inside, pick up your bags off the sidewalk. Don't you hear sincerity in my voice when I talk? Told you this is my fault, look me in the eyeball. Next time I'm pissed, I'll aim my fist at the drywall. Next time, there will be no next time. I apologize even though I know it's lies. I'm tired of the games, I just want it back. I know I'm alive. If she ever tries to fucking leave again, I'ma tie her to the bed and set this house on fire. I'm just gonna
stand there and watch me burn. But that's alright because I like the way it hurts. Just gonna stand there and hear me cry. But that's alright because I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie.
Okay. I remember when I first heard the song, I thought that Love the Way You Lie was like meant as like a double meaning. And I was like trying to figure it out. I was like, I don't understand. What's the other meaning? But I don't think there is. You know what I mean? Like the way you lie, like just the way you lie there. Like in my head, for whatever reason, I was imagining that she was like looking at him, like lying there, and it was supposed to be a double entendre. But I was looking for shit that wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it is. All right. Third and final verse.
Okay.
He comes in, says, now I know we said things, did things that we didn't mean, and we fall back into the same patterns, same routine, but your temper's just as bad as mine is. You're the same as me. When it comes to love, you're just as blinded. So he's acknowledging, like, yeah, we said and did things. It was fucked up. And, like, yeah, I recognize that we do keep going through the same cycle where
Yeah.
I'm wrong, you're wrong. We fight and fall out and then get back together. So it's interesting. There is like he's taking like a meta perspective of the relationship. He's like for like kind of stepping outside and saying like,
Yeah, like
oh,
looking at it for what it really is.
yeah, like some clarity there. But it's funny because even though he can take that step out temporarily and objectively say like this is bad and toxic, he can't leave. Do you know what I mean? And neither
Yeah.
can she. And then he says, "Yeah, your temper's just as bad as mine is." So it's both of them
Yeah.
toxic, fucked up. And when it comes to love, you're just as blinded. So yeah, they can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
too dependent, codependent on this relationship. Then he says, "Baby, please come back. It wasn't you. Baby, it was me. Maybe our relationship isn't as crazy as it seems." So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
just straight delusion. And so literally the line before is you're just as bad as me. We're blinded, right? And so like you imagine that he does feel that way. But then when she's leaving, he's willing to be like, "Oh no, it's all me. It's all me. Like please just come back." Like saying whatever.
But then that's the exact reason why she shouldn't come back.
I know.
Like, well, if it ain't me, you're the whole fucking problem then.
Yeah, so like this is Eminem's genius. Like he really he's really good at painting these that like unhealthy state of mind. Do you know what I mean? Like
Well,
that
it's definitely from
delusional.
experience.
Yeah, of course, but he's like good at relaying it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
like explaining it.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe our relationship was as crazy as it seems. So, delusional or maybe wishful thinking. Then he says, maybe that's what happened when a tornado meets a volcano. All I know is I love you too much to walk away, though. So obviously, tornadoes, volcanoes, they're natural disasters.
Yes.
They're,
And
you
they're
know,
both chaotic.
yes, exactly. And then he says, I just love you too much for this, to not stay with you. He says, come inside, pick up the bags off the sidewalk. Don't you hear sincerity in my voice when I talk? So she's got her bags packed. She's out front. She's leaving. And he's like, come on, trying to suck her back in. And then he says, told you this is my fault. Look me in the eyeball. Next time I'm pissed, I'll lay my fist. Is it lay? Is
I
it
thought it was
aim? I'll
aim.
aim my fist at the drywall. So this is another reference to domestic violence, where he's saying, next time I won't hit you, I'll make sure I hit the drywall. Which even that's not the greatest.
Yeah, like you just shouldn't punch
Yeah.
anything.
And then it's next time, there won't be no next time.
Oh,
I apologize, even though I know it's lies. So again, this is him. He's jumping back and forth between this like rational meta look at the relationship from the outside looking in, but then like jump falling back into it and like acknowledging his wrongs, but being like, oh, it's a lie. It's not actually going to change, even though I know that. It's like really like sick and unhealthy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then yeah, I apologize, even though I know it's lies. I'm tired of the games. I just want her back. I know I'm a liar. If she ever tries to fucking leave again, I'm a tired to the bed and set this house on fire.
Now that isn't controlling. That's crazy.
Yeah. So if I can't have you, no one will. You know what I mean? So he's
Yeah.
threatening to kill her
Let's not love
for leaving.
people. If
No.
you feel like that about someone, you should just completely stay away from them.
Yeah, of course. And then yeah, so like we mentioned at the beginning of the song, the setting the house on fire, that the chorus foreshadows, which is cool. I'm sure, as we were talking about earlier, Skylar Grey wrote this. So this chorus was formed before Eminem wrote the song. So like in his mind, it planted the seed like, oh, I'm gonna do this line about setting the house on fire to tie in with the stand there and watch me burn, you know?
Right, right, right.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. And yeah, that's it. Then Rihanna just sings the hook and it fades out. All right. So, of the way you lie.
So yeah, like I said, I know this song. I've known it since it came out. It was on the radio and everything. Like I even think I saw the music video for it. I remember a lot of the lyrics. It's really, really good. I never really paid all that much attention to like the complexity of Eminem's verses in this song, but like they're really good. Like how you were explaining, he's like looking at the relationship for what it is from like almost like a normal perspective, and then like going right back into being chaotic and crazy, which is it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's very creative. So this is again one of those songs that was everywhere. I've heard it
Yes.
so many times that you kind of lose sight of,
Yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
lose the how technical and how complex a song is when it's on the radio for some reason.
Yeah, it just becomes like a fixture. It's just like, oh, this is always there.
Yeah,
There's no need to analyze or examine it. I know all the words, so there's nothing else to know. You know what I mean?
exactly.
But yeah, like you were just saying, he's the song and the way he's delivering the lyrics mirrors the relationship that he's describing. So
Hmm.
like you were just saying, he goes from this place of like acknowledging how fucked up it is, you know what I mean? But then jumping back into it. And like so some of his lines are like very like self-reflective and like, oh yeah, this isn't great, you know what I mean? This relationship, I'm doing the wrong thing here. But then it jumps into like, oh yeah, she's just as wrong, and I know I'm lying, and then ultimately I'm gonna fucking kill her if she tries to leave me again. You know, it's like it's really cool. It's crazy that this was like one of the biggest songs in the world at the time. It's interesting.
Yes.
It's very interesting that it was such a hit. I mean, it was a big deal that they did this song together, particularly because of Rihanna. You know what I mean? She went through her shit with Chris Brown, and it was like,
Yeah.
wow, they're doing. I wonder how Chris Brown feels about Eminem getting on this song. But yeah, so we will after we finish recovery in between the albums, we'll actually do part two, the one that was from Rihanna's perspective with Eminem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you. Bye.